Welcome to Dashing Dish. It's my mom's birthday and the family's coming to celebrate. The birthday menu includes chicken veggie kebabs, crunchy garlic pita bread, Greek tabbouleh salad, and of course, we can't leave out the ice cream cake for dessert. We're celebrating my mom and her birthday on today's Dashing Dish. It's a celebration kind of day today. We are celebrating birthdays, specifically my mom's birthday. And so I'm gonna be making her the one traditional thing that we have to have at every single birthday in my family, and that's an ice cream cake. A long time ago, I created this recipe because in my family, we knew that we had to have our cake and eat it too with ice cream on the side. So this is the best of both worlds because we have ice cream and cake all in one. So I'm just gonna start by kind of crushing up some cookies, and you can use any kind of cookie that you like. And the easiest way that I've found to do that is just by putting it in a Ziploc bag and using a rolling pin or anything that you can crush cookies with. And what we're gonna do with these cookies is we're gonna place them on the bottom layer of a springform pan. Now you wanna use a springform pan, so if you don't have one, make sure you get one for this recipe because you need it in order to be able to release the sides. And so that's what a springform pan does, is this little buckle here releases, and then when you take the sides off, it's a beautiful layered ice cream cake that is beautiful for any birthday. So I'm gonna crush down these cookies with my hand just to form the layer of the bottom crust. There's no real technical way to do that, just as long as it looks like a crust. You don't have to worry too much about it holding together because the ice cream is kind of gonna act as a glue that will hold everything together. So I have 2 gallons, yes, 2 gallons of ice cream here. This is not necessarily the healthiest recipe that I've ever made. However, it is a birthday. So that's what we're gonna use, is we're gonna use just about half of it here. And you just wanna use any type of ice cream that you like. So this is cookies and cream, and we have a chocolate cookie crust, so they pair really well together. So just think about what pairs well together, or whoever you're celebrating, what do they like? And that's really all you have to think about. You don't necessarily have to buy a healthy ice cream or a lighter ice cream. If it's a birthday, this is the time to go and just have your moderation where you just enjoy what you like. But of course, if you wanted to look for a healthier ice cream, you can pick whatever the birthday person he or she likes. So I'm just gonna kind of use a spoon and my fingers to kind of spread it out, and we just softened it for about 30 to 60 seconds in the microwave ahead of time. But you could also just leave it out on the counter for a little bit if you don't have a microwave, just to get it soft enough to kind of smooth it out over the crust. Then, this is the fun part, we're gonna add the rest of our cookies. And this will give you a really pretty layered look when you take the springform off. And whenever I make this recipe, people always remark at how beautiful, where can I get this recipe? And then when they find out that I literally took a bag of cookies crushed up and 2 gallons of ice cream and then whatever toppings you like, they can't believe how easy it is. And I love it because even on my own birthday, I make this cake for my own self. And it's not a labor of love. It literally takes 5 minutes. So I'm gonna do the rest of the ice cream. And in between these layers, if you wanted to add some of the toppings, you could do that as well. And we're just gonna smooth the rest of the ice cream over the top. So for me, I always choose a peanut butter and a chocolate version. So I always do, we have some Reese's here, we have some peanut butter candies, we have some chocolate cookies. So anything peanut butter and chocolate is really my favorite. So that's what I use for my birthday cake. And pretty much everybody in my family seems to be along that trend. My dad likes to do espresso. So anything with coffee ice cream A lot of times I'll use Heath Bar on the top of his. And then I just have some whipped topping, and you just wanna make sure that that's softened if it's frozen, just so that, again, you can spread it on the top. And this is optional, you don't necessarily have to top it with whipped topping, but everything's better with whipped cream. So when I made this cake for the first time, I believe it was for my dad's birthday, everyone was remarking at how good this cake was. And you know, I thought to myself, it really was so easy. I think I'll make this again for the next birthday. And then from there, it just became a tradition. And what's fun is that everybody requests what kind of toppings that they want for their cake. So it's kind of a personalized way that I get to celebrate everyone in my family when they call me before their birthday and they tell me exactly what they want, what flavor of ice cream, what kind of toppings. It's a really fun way to speak love to them. So I'm gonna top this with some crunchy chocolate cookies because to me, texture is everything. So having different textures and flavors in the ice cream cake is delicious. Then we have some peanut butter candies. And again, is this the most healthy recipe that you'll ever see me making? No, but it is a birthday. So I'm gonna celebrate my mom the right way, and we're gonna have a little balance here, and we're gonna make this fun. And not only that, but I mean, how mouth-watering does this look? And then we're gonna top it with just a few crushed up chocolate peanut butter candies. And you could top this with some chocolate syrup or anything else you can imagine. You do wanna make sure that you freeze this well ahead of time because it takes about 4 hours to firm up in the freezer. And then right before you celebrate and you stick your candles in, you'll just wanna run some warm water along the sides of the springform pan and it'll pop right off, and then you can sing happy birthday. I'm gonna put this in the freezer and then we'll get started on the dinner. For as long as I can remember, birthdays have been a big deal in our family. From birthday balloons, flowers, and cake, the entire day is a celebration. And because birthdays were always a big deal in our house growing up, I knew that when I became a mom to Maddie, that birthdays would follow suit, and I couldn't wait to plan her parties. Maddie's first birthday was a unicorn theme that was glittery, pink, and simply magical. I made unicorn cookies, cupcakes, and all things sweet. Maddie came dressed in a unicorn shirt and tutu, and her Aunt Sarah even bought her a life-size unicorn. This past year, Maddie turned 3, and I knew her birthday theme would be under the sea. Since watching the Disney movie Finding Nemo, she has taken a special interest in ocean life. So we named her party Under the Sea, Maddie's Turning 3. I think I may still be enjoying Maddie's party more than she does at this age, but I know that she'll look back on pictures and she'll treasure them. No matter how big or small, what I love most about birthdays is coming together and celebrating. Nothing could be more special than celebrating the greatest gift of all, which is the gift of life. All right, so dessert is all set for my mom, and now I'm gonna start on the dinner. I'm gonna start with some Parmesan pita chips, and they are so delicious, and we have them for every single birthday dinner at our house. I just start with 3 or so pita bread, and I have whole wheat or whole grain, works well too. You could even just use whatever you can find at the grocery store. And it's so simple, you just literally cut it into wedges using a sharp knife, and then we're gonna lay it on a baking sheet pan. And I like to make these alongside dinner because it adds some texture. I always like to think about textures and flavors as a whole when I'm thinking about a meal. So if I have a meal, I always like to have something that's crunchy. It gives flavor, it gives texture, but these also work really well to kind of scoop up your food. And that's what I find that my family often does. So whenever it's a birthday dinner, we do shish kebab, which is basically grilled chicken and veggies, rice, salad. So it's almost like a Mediterranean feel. And then these work really well to kind of scoop everything up on your plate. So I just sprayed the pita with some cooking spray, and then I have some Parmesan cheese that I'm gonna just kind of sprinkle over. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You can add as much or as little cheese as you'd like. The more the better, I think, for these. And hey, it's a birthday. Then we're gonna do any kind of seasoning. So paprika, chili powder, garlic powder, anything that you would like on a chip. So you could even do onion powder. Just kind of sprinkle it over, eyeball it. And just a little bit of salt. Since you do have the Parmesan cheese, you don't want to go too heavy because you'll find that they'll be really salty. So just a little bit, and that looks perfect. Then I'm gonna spray them again with some cooking spray. And what this does is it allows them to get nice and crispy and golden brown in the oven. Why wait all day to blow out the candles when you can do it first thing in the morning? One of my favorite things to do for my family on their birthday is whip up a batch of birthday pancakes. I use cookie cutters to make them a fun shape, top them off with whipped cream and sprinkles, and of course, light a candle for a special way to start their day. Coming up next, my sister Emily joins me in the kitchen as we prepare grilled chicken veggie kebabs and a Greek tabbouleh salad. All of my mom's favorites as we celebrate her birthday. Birthdays are all about celebrating those that you love and making them feel special. And today, my sister Emily is gonna help me finish up the birthday dinner for my mom. And we're gonna pamper her and make her feel really special. So
that's what she does for us.
It's
right?
true.
Time to give back.
Yep. And I mean, she always makes us feel so celebrated on birthday. So we're gonna make her favorite, which is chicken veggie kebabs, and this is what we do for every birthday. I'm gonna have you cut up some bell pepper, some onions, and then we already cut up some chicken breast. So you could really do anything on the kebabs that he or she, and in this case, my mom, would like. And so for her, we're gonna just do some peppers, some zucchini would be great, some mushrooms, and we're gonna skewer them onto some kebabs. So if you have wood kebabs, you wanna make sure that you soak them in water for about 30 minutes beforehand so that they don't burn on the grill. If you have metal, then you don't have to do that step. I'm gonna make the marinade to go along with these kebabs, and I'm just gonna add everything to a cute little mason jar so I can put the top on and shake it up. And Em, what do you like on your birthday kebabs?
I love all things vegetables, so especially when they're grilled. My favorite are onions, and I know Mom's not a huge fan of onions, so I always like to steal hers.
So I just added 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar and 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. This vinegar is really what's gonna tenderize the chicken and also give a lot of flavor because the acid in the vinegars. You can do any kind of vinegar that you like. And then I'm gonna do 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. So Em, what is some special memories that you have of birthday celebrations?
Mom, how special she makes us feel on our birthdays. And since we were little, we always had birthday weeks.
Yeah.
And we knew it that when our birthday was coming up, we had a whole week to celebrate. So, you know, it was the very special birthday dinner. We usually went out to eat once, and then we did a big extended family birthday. So it was like a whole week's event.
Sometimes birthday month, it's more than just a week.
We'll
It's
take a
sometimes
month.
a full birthday month, especially for you since you're the baby
That's
of the
right.
family. Emily always makes sure that everybody knows that it's her birthday well ahead of time.
That's right.
I would say at least 3 weeks so that everyone's prepared and everyone has gifts in mind.
Yep.
That's what the baby of the family always does.
I do.
when it's her
I start a
birthday.
countdown. It's important that people know, you know?
So to the vinegar and the lemon juice, I just added some seasonings. So I did some thyme, some salt, a little bit of sweetener, so just a little sweetener to offset the saltiness, and then a little bit of minced garlic. And we don't have any oil in this recipe, but you can always do a little bit of avocado oil. I actually like to brush my actual skewers ahead of time with some avocado oil just to make sure that they don't stick to the grill. So that's where I add the oil. You could always spray them with some avocado oil as well.
Now, can you throw this in the oven as well as the grill?
Yeah, so that's a great question because a lot of times, you know, we have birthdays that aren't necessarily in the summer. So what do we do then? We still have these chicken veggie kebabs. We just put them in the oven at about 400 degrees, 425 maybe, depending on your oven. And then you just want to kind of watch them depending on what's on the kebab. So for chicken, they're going to go a little bit longer. I would say about 20 minutes maybe. You'll want to flip them about halfway through. And if you have something like seafood, so like shrimp, it's a little bit less, so maybe 10 minutes total. Just until the meat is cooked through, and that's what we really like to look for. So I'm gonna start layering these kebabs with some of the veggies that you cut, and there's no right or wrong way to do this. You can kind of customize them too, depending on who's gonna eat them. So usually for our husbands,
They're not big veggie lovers.
they like ones with just the meat. So we do whole kebabs with just the meat. So you just want to kind of get the harder veggies on there. And then what I'm going to do with this marinade is I'm going to pour it over the kebabs. So we have a sheet pan here, and we're gonna layer the kebabs all along the sheet pan, pour the marinade over, put it back in the fridge for about a half hour, just so that it can really soak up the marinade before we grill them.
Look how pretty they look.
They look great. And it's also a beautiful way to celebrate birthdays. One of my favorite parts of God's heart is His desire to give us amazing gifts. James 1:17 tells us that every good and perfect gift is from the Father above. This scripture reminds us that every good gift that we receive is because of God's great love for us. God's gifts may not look like a present that we receive for our birthday, but they are much more life-giving than anything wrapped in a bow. As we spend time reflecting on the amazing gifts that God has for us, it won't take long for us to find them. All that's good around us is from our Heavenly Father, and our very life is the most precious gift of all. It's my mom's birthday that we're celebrating today, and it's almost party time. So Em, I'm gonna have you grill up the chicken kebabs that we just made and we marinated in the fridge for about a half hour. And so I'll just have you turn on the grill pan about medium high. If you see that they're starting to get too dark, you can always turn down the heat. You just wanna make sure that they cook on each side for about at least 3 minutes, kind of checking them as you cook. And you'll know that they're done when the chicken is totally cooked through. I do have some avocado oil that I sprayed on there, but also to kind of brush them as you go, just so that they don't stick since there was no oil in the marinade. And then I'm gonna make the perfect salad to go along with these kebabs. It's really the best of both worlds because it's like a rice and also a salad in one, and it's our tabbouleh salad. So I started with 1 cup of quinoa that's been cooked, so really it's a half cup of dry. Do you use quinoa at home often?
I don't even think of using it often, but it's a good alternative to rice.
Yeah, it's a great whole grain option, and there are so many nutrients in quinoa, so many nutritional benefits that are far outside of rice.
Right.
So a lot of times I like to use it just for the protein and the fiber alone. It keeps you satisfied. Mm-hmm. And then just for a really simple dressing for this, I just squeeze the juice of about half to a full lemon, depending on how lemony you like things, onto the quinoa, and that looks good. And then I'm gonna just chop up some fresh parsley, and if you don't have fresh, you could always use dry, but I strongly recommend for this recipe using fresh. And a lot of times I don't buy fresh herbs, just because they tend to go bad in my fridge, so a lot of times I use dry. But there are some recipes like salads that you really want to use the fresh. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite herb, your favorite fresh herb?
I love basil.
I do too.
It's one of my favorites. But I don't think of buying fresh herbs that often.
Right.
They go bad quickly, so unless I know that I have a meal that I'm gonna use it for.
Right.
But I know it's so easy to grow your own herbs. Have you ever done that?
Yeah, so a lot of times just in my windowsill, I will have a little basil plant that I get from the grocery store. So that's always a really easy one to grow because you can grow it right on your windowsill at home. And then I like to add that to any Italian dish that I'm cooking up. Like you said, that's probably my favorite. And then I also love cilantro.
Oh yeah.
And did you know that some people can't eat cilantro? I don't know if it's that they can't eat it or some people actually have something in their taste buds that actually predisposes them to not liking cilantro. So I guess some people in the world actually cannot have cilantro. But I do like it on Mexican dishes.
Me too.
And it's always worth the fresh, don't you think?
It is.
Because it really brings out the flavors.
I need to plan my meals better and get some fresh every once in a while. It does make a big difference.
So to this, I'm also adding some tomatoes. And since this is a salad, there's no right or wrong way. There's no specific measurements that you actually have to follow. It's kind of just to your liking. So I have some cucumbers here that I'm gonna just dice up. And with our family, we're big salad eaters. Mm-hmm. So we love to make a really big salad with almost every meal that we have. But since these veggie kebabs already have a lot of veggies in them, this really simple quinoa salad is perfect to go alongside them. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it makes everybody happy because you have the rice eaters, the salad eaters, and you could also dice these cucumbers up a little bit more fine. It's just really to taste.
Smells so good in here.
How are those
getting
looking?
Hungry. It looks really good.
Those do look good. And so to this, I'm gonna add just a really simple dressing, and this is a dressing that you can make for any salad. It has 2 tablespoons of avocado oil, and a 1/4 cup of vinegar. I use red wine vinegar, but you can use any kind of salad vinegar that you like. So really it's just half the amount of oil to the vinegar. And a lot of times dressings have half and half, but I like to go a little heavier on the vinegar because that's where the flavor is. You also save some calories that way.
That's right. So you can eat it on the ice cream cake later.
That's right.
Right?
You need to pick and choose. And here we have ice cream cake.
That's
And
right.
it's not even a question of where we're going to spend our calories
true.
today. And then just a little bit of salt. And the recipe calls for a 4th teaspoon, but just kind of eyeball it, just a little pinch of salt.
So good. I love the bright colors. It's like
And
a good summer dish.
The lemon just really stands out in this. So even if you're not a fan of quinoa, you could use brown rice, white rice. You could even use couscous. Would be good with this. So this is looking really good. So this is kind of like our Mediterranean rice salad that we'll have with our chicken kebabs. And those look like they're almost done cooking up. I think we should go decorate, check on the ice cream cake, and it'll be time to celebrate Mom.
excited.
All right, let's go. Coming up next, it's time to celebrate with a birthday meal fit for the best mom a girl could have. No matter what the size of the celebration, birthdays can be a wonderful time of reflection. They allow us to stop and be thankful for our growth, look back on precious memories, and thank God for our very life. Easton, are you going to help Grammy sing happy birthday? Are you? Are you going to help her blow them out? Mom, it's so wonderful to celebrate you. You have truly celebrated us, all 3 of us girls growing up, and you have made us feel so special on every birthday. So it is such a joy for us to celebrate you now.
Thank you.
Ready, everyone? Happy birthday!
I'll Grandma blow them out.
Can you blow 'em
Ready?
out?
1, 2, 3.
Yay! Well, for more recipes just like this, head over to dashingdish.com where you'll find recipes and more that will nourish your body and soul. Was Quinny too loud?